Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Glover. Cindy is off tonight. Now that the wreckage from last night's plane crash has been removed from Shallowford Road, we're on to the next steps. The two people aboard only had minor injuries, but now the hard work into determining what caused that single-engine Cessna to come down begins. Local 3's Catherine Vaughn was at the crash scene earlier this evening. She has a primer on what follows.
I'm standing across the road from where that plane crashed Tuesday evening. It's been almost 24 hours later, and we've still got some unanswered questions, including what comes next. Aviation attorney Michael Brown says the National Transportation Safety Board, or the NTSB, will begin an investigation to determine the cause of the accident. Brown says these investigations consider the conditions of three aspects: the environment, the plane, and the pilot.
Look at the weather that night. Was it dark? Was it cloudy? Was it raining? They'll look at the airplane itself. Was it mechanically in shape? Was the engine working? Was there a fire? And then they'll look at the pilot too. Was he tired? Was he depressed? What was happening with him leading up to it?
Their findings will be used to create a preliminary report, which is expected to be completed within 30 days of the accident. Then, Brown says the NTSB will issue a final report. As we wait to learn what happened here, Brown says it's important to remember that accidents might result from a combination of issues, not just one.
A big thing to remember in aviation accidents is it's never just one thing. It's a lot of things that stacked up. That was it, the pilot was tired, fuel, was it an old engine, was it expected? And people start making poor aeronautical decision making, and once you stack risks like that, then it leads to an accident.
But sometimes the situation is out of the pilot's control, which is why proper training is crucial in handling some of those situations.
Yeah, part of the training, if you want to eventually be a good and proficient pilot, is putting yourself into situations that require good judgment, good skill. And sometimes that involves flying in sometimes a little adverse weather to get good training.
So if problems do arise, the pilot will know what they need to do to keep those in the air and those on the ground safe.
He could have easily landed on a very congested part. That's really good instructing and probably good student. I don't know who was flying at the time, but to be able to avoid, property damage like that, obviously the first thing you want to think about is preserving life, both in the air and on the ground.
Brown says this instructing might have played a role into the outcome of this incident.
A good pilot doesn't panic. He applies what he's learned in his training to address the situation. Great pilots use great decision making to avoid situations which require their great skill.
We'll keep you updated as we continue to find out more information. I'm Catherine Vaughn, Local 3 News.